I'm going to show you how to roast a whole chicken. This recipe I'm using is a modified recipe from The Joy of Cooking. I have prepared this recipe many times and modified it in different ways. This is my favorite modification. I would like to stuff the chicken with an orange and a lemon that I've cut into quarters, and also 4 cloves of garlic. We will wrap the chicken in a cheesecloth that has been soaked in butter. About a quarter or about half a stick of butter. Works good, or a little more if you like it, if you like butter. This chicken that I am roasting today was raised on this farm by my partner and I. We butchered and raised 18 chickens. I was the eviscerator, which is basically a fancy term for someone that removes guts. So I'm going to stuff this chicken with this orange and this lemon. I don't think I'll be able to get all 4 slices. You can also stuff the bird with stuffing if you like, but I find that I have a harder time cooking it thoroughly and run the risk of a contamination issue. So I like this recipe. It adds good flavor and also helps with keeping the bird nice and moist. Sometimes I have issues with drying out whole chicken. It's hard to cook the dark meat on the leg and the white meat on the breast and without drying it out. Without drying out the breast and cooking the leg all the way through. Wash my hands. Now I'm going to wrap the chicken with the cheesecloth that we have soaked in butter. It's a good idea to get the whole chicken all the way wrapped. You could also singe and truss the chicken, tie up the wings and the legs, but I find that the cheesecloth holds it together pretty nicely without the needed effort of singeing and trussing. I don't know how they do it in the grocery store when you go to buy a rotisserie chicken and it's all tied up so well and crisscrossed, and I don't understand how to do that. But this works pretty good. Try and get the whole bird covered if you can, and any extra, kind of tuck it in underneath. I'm going to pour a little water into the bottom of the pan. Not to quite cover the rack underneath. This will probably evaporate over time while it's cooking, so you might need to add a little more if you want. I'm going to put this in the oven that I've preheated to 450 degrees. As soon as it goes in, I will turn the temperature down to 350. It's going to cook about 20 minutes per pound. This is a 4-pound chicken, so about an hour and a half, a little bit less. I will baste it frequently, about every 20 minutes during the cooking process. You baste over the cheesecloth and you baste, and then you remove the cheesecloth and you baste underneath as well. I have the rack in the oven about centered. And we will check on this in about 20 minutes. Now we are going to check on the chicken. I already checked it once, about 20 minutes ago. I basted and made sure that it wasn't burning. Looks great. I'm going to baste the chicken on top of the cheesecloth. The cheesecloth sometimes gets stuck. That's normal. Add a little bit of water as well. Going to remove the cheesecloth now. The chicken's looking great. You want it to brown into a nice golden. You don't want it to get too dark. That looks good. I'm going to pour some water. Baste a little more with these juices. That's great stock down there for making good broth when the chicken is done. Or if you're making gravy with mashed potatoes, it'd be a good accompaniment for supper. I'll put the cheesecloth back on now, making sure to cover all the top of the bird. To take a fork and into the leg. Poke the leg down below. There's fat pockets. Not quite there. And lots of temp it real quick. Into the meatiest part of the thigh. The thigh is this upper part here. I like to go this way. You don't want to get any bones. Should see some juices coming out. We're looking for a temperature of 160, and looks like now we're up to 120. So about 40 degrees to go, which puts us in about the same amount of time. Should take us about 20 minutes. 20 to 40 minutes, actually. I will check this again in 20 minutes to make sure that we don't burn it. You want to check it often. Put it back in the oven. See it again soon. So I've removed the chicken from the oven. Before that, I checked on it, I basted, and I also removed the cheesecloth and the orange and the lemons that were inside. This helps get in a nice even brown color, and I feel that there's some extra juices that pile up in the cavity when it's filled with the orange, and I like to get those out. So now we will cut up the chicken. This part is always tricky. The balancing act, getting it out of the pan. Practice does help. You can start by removing the wing. Go along the bone there. Kind of pull it out a little bit and find the joints. It should just pretty much fall apart. Not take much effort. I like to do each piece at a time. So I'll do the wings and then the legs and then the rest. With the leg, you can cut it all in one piece with the leg and the thigh all attached, or you can cut the leg and then the thigh. I like to leave it all together because it's simpler, but if you're trying to feed more people, it's a good it's an easier way to make more servings. Now go along. Once again, we're going to find the joint. It might be a little pink. That is typical with the chicken and other fowl. Ooh. Usually I don't do that. Now we'll do the other side. Juices. Great. Should be a good chicken. Juicy chicken. Very juicy. Now for the breast. A little tricky, and then there's some nice white breast meat. And there you have your chicken dinner. And you can use the carcass, what's left over, to make soup and stock. I could probably get 3 or 4 meals out of a whole chicken, which is quite beneficial. And thank you.